I've made you a fortune in college football. Hell, I'm going for Saturday best bet number 20 out of 26 over the past 2 years. I've made you a fortune here with my free picks. Yes, with just the free picks I'm giving away. But this year, here we are, first day of November. After 2 months of coming back and doing these video reports, it dawned on me I have not been having fun because I've just been talking about football. And if you think about it, in the 15,000 or so videos I've done over the past 20 years, I've had more fun when I've been sarcastic. Oh, made comments that have been dripping with irony, and I haven't been doing that. So I thought about it here, and I was going to say something last week because I thought Stephen A. Smith made a dumbass remark about Donald Trump coming after the NBA and the gambling, but I put it to the side. But you can always count on Stephen A. Smith saying something even stupider. And of course, he did that this week. But I even put that to the side because I thought, RFK Jr. is always going to say something even more asinine. But then Kim Kardashian, somebody who has absolutely no discernible talent as far as I can tell, other than making a porn tape once, which may or may not have been having its release coordinated by her mother. But hey, that whole family is a bunch of stiffs. Again, no discernible talent. And if you ever watch that porn tape, I'll even debate you whether she had even any talent there, says that the moon landings were fake. And of course, a White House spokesman who got his start on MTV's Real World and married a fellow Real Worlder had to come out and say that, hey, Kim, you're wrong. But this is somebody who actually hopes to pass the bar exam and become a lawyer. Yes, I want to hire a lawyer who says the moon landings were fake. But in this world that we live in, where there are actually people that deny that the Holocaust actually existed, people that still feel that the 2020 election was rigged, I don't know. It reminds me of the 1978 movie Capricorn 1, starring that great actor O.J. Simpson. Yes, where first lent credence to the fact that the moon landings were staged. But Kim K, yes, just imagine we should be taking advice from Kim Kardashian, well-known spokesman of the stars. So we move on. Okay, so let's talk about the complimentary plays. 80 and 47 in all sports combined over the past year. 80 and 47. 5-1 with the college football freebies over the past 2 weeks. And today I have 4 complimentary plays in college football. Yes, these are the plays that I really like, but for one reason or another did not make my best bet selection. Let's talk about losing for just 1 minute, because I think it's very important to talk about losing, because most guys just brush past it and they never acknowledge that they lose. Acknowledge the fact that you're going to lose before you ever make your first wager, and you'll be a much happier gambler. You'll be a much happier handicapper too. You acknowledge the fact that you're going to lose. Sometimes you're going to lose repeatedly. Acknowledge it, accept it, put it in the rearview mirror, and move forward. It's why I always say that you never, ever celebrate the wins, and you never lament the losses. Those that do, you'll be walking the fine line between sanity and insanity. You'll always be that guy that'll be suicidal. Seriously. You move forward. Last weekend, I had my first losing weekend of the entire football season, meaning I lost Saturday and Sunday. First time that's happened the entire football season. We're on November 1st, for Christ's sake. It happens. And what did I do? I then won on Monday night with the Chiefs. I won on Tuesday night with Kennesaw State. Wednesday, I pushed with Jacksonville State. Yes, I bought that half point and walked away with the push, and you did too. And then Thursday, I won with the Ravens. 3 straight winners, got back everything I lost last weekend. And that puts me in position today, guys, for top-rated 15-dime football winner number 40 out of 62, 9 out of 11 in college football this season, and over the past 2 years, number 20 out of 26 on Saturdays. Pretty damn impressive, if you ask me. And you know what I'm going to say? Once again, it's going to be, ladies and gentlemen, the half-price play of the day, simply by using coupon code HALF, HALF, over at DeMarcosports.com. Or, if you've never been a player over at DeMarcosports.com, you can get it, plus all the plays from all the handicappers, for free, using, yes, like that blur with my hand. You got to love how these cameras cannot do the blur background if you move your hands too quickly. See that? You can get it for free using the 2-day free all-access pass. Today, the regular price is $109. You can get it for free, plus all the plays of all the handicappers. No strings attached. If you ever have any questions, you can always contact customer service. I have one more important thing to tell you, but first, let's get to your complimentary plays. And I'll run these in reverse chronological order for you. The first game is going to be Washington State. I gave you Washington State as a freebie last week. Probably most of you laughed, but I like Washington State again. This line has dropped from 4.5 down to 3.5, although there are some fours out there at Oregon State. You know, these two, because nobody else wanted to play these two teams, are actually going to play twice this year. Today's game is in Corvallis. Um, Washington State, four straight covers and impressive. You know, last week I had them as a 2.5 point home dog against Toledo, and they won that game 28-7. Before that, as a 5.5 point dog at Colorado State, they won that game 20-3 outright. And then they had those two very impressive road outings, which really, you know, were eye-opening experiences in terms of me, and that's what got me on them last week against Toledo when they went to Old Miss as a 33-point dog, and they only lost by 3. And I thought, okay, maybe Old Miss simply got caught looking ahead to last week's game at Oklahoma. But then, as a 15.5 point dog, they only lost by 2 on a weird safety at the end of the game at Virginia, but totally outplayed the Cavaliers in Charlottesville. So when you think about it, their defense held Toledo to 7, Virginia to 22, Old Miss to 24, and Colorado State to 3. And 3 of those 4 games were on the road. Defense travels. It's the oldest thing in the book that they said. You know, Oregon State already fired their coach. Now they snapped their 7-game season opening losing streak by beating Lafayette 2 weeks ago, 45-13. They ran for 365 yards. Big deal. Lafayette, an FCS team. Against FBS foes, isn't it easier if we could just go back and say Division I foes, like in the old days? They're giving up almost 36 points a game. Their offense is only averaging 17.7. They went out and through the NIL and the portal, they got Malik Murphy, who played at Duke and played at Texas, but he's really been a bust for them. He's only completed like 58% of his passes, 215 yards a game, 9 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. They went to Gabari Johnson, who's more of a dual threat quarterback last week or against Lafayette. They may split time today, or they may give Johnson the start. I don't think it matters. I like Washington State in this particular spot. Next game I want to talk about goes at 7 o'clock Eastern Time at Folsom Field in Boulder. It's homecoming for Colorado. I'm sure those fans are just going to be thrilled after Colorado got its collective asses kicked last week, 53-7 at Utah. A game in which the Buffs were down 43-0 at halftime, outgained 587 to 140. Utah ran for 422 yards in that game. The Utes had 7 sacks, 13 tackles for loss. The Colorado offensive line couldn't do a damn thing. The quarterback play was absolutely pathetic for Colorado in that game. It's almost like Colorado's offensive coordinator, Pat Shurmur, who has extensive experience in the NFL, just couldn't adjust or wouldn't adjust. I don't know what he was thinking of back there. But this Colorado defense hasn't played well all season long. I mean, they give up 217 yards rushing per game. They give up 210 yards passing a game. And now you've got an Arizona team that's coming in here off a bye and really in a position that they need to win this game, because otherwise they're going to have to split out their final 4 games in order to become bowl eligible. And this is a spot where you're looking at a line which was 3.5. It's now up to 4.5. And naturally, just like with Washington State, I'm going to tell you to buy down the half point. But I'll tell you what, their quarterback, Noah Fafita, I think I said that right. Noah Fafita. I think I said that right. Yes. Really has had a very nice season under the direction of their new offensive coordinator, Seth Daggy. This year, 66% completion, 17 touchdowns, only 4 interceptions. When you look back at last year, when so much was expected of him, he really slumped. It was like, let's call it a sophomore slump, second year as their starting quarterback. Last year, only 60% completions, 18 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. 2 years ago, when he burst on the scene in Tucson, that's when he hit 72%, 25 touchdowns, only 6 interceptions. So he's really playing back at that level of 2 years ago. And, This is going to be his 29th consecutive start. So he's got the veteran experience. So playing in Boulder is not going to really be intimidating. Now, they're coming off a couple of losses to BYU, 33-27 at home, and at Houston, 31-28. But those two teams, BYU and Houston, they're a combined 15-1 straight up this season. Not exactly embarrassing losses, right? And I will tell you something. In the old days, I'm talking 10 years ago, I used to rely on the beat writers to be my eyes and ears. And I'd go to every newspaper site and I'd look at their recaps and follow them all week long to see how teams were practicing, who was injured. Then I'd look at their score predictions. Well, nowadays it's blogs. So one of the blogs I follow is Arizona Desert Swarm, azdesertswarm.com. Three of the writers who are 17-3 against the spread, going on or against Arizona this season, they all like the Wildcats today, and so do I. So I'm going to go with Arizona here and buy down the points in this one. FYI, if you go over to DeMarcosports.com and you look under this video, if you're not happen to be there right now, you will see that Steve Budin has an interview show today, which features Shawn Michaels, who is a very good friend of mine, and who is going to really take over these sites once I retire here at Super Bowl, right after the Super Bowl. And he is going to, he goes one-on-one with Mr. Hollywood. This is going to be the first time I'm going to mention his name in a video report in over 12, 14 years here, Brandon Lang, who, despite what you will read on the internet, which shows you how much crap is on the internet, we are not friends. We have not spoken to each other in well over 5 or 6 years, not a word. I will say, though, I will give him props. When my mother passed away in January, he sent a very, very nice email to me, and I do appreciate that. But we're not friends. No. We don't talk. Can't stand the guy. Anyway, that's the truth. So there you go. Don't believe what you read on the internet, guys. But anyway, Shawn and Brandon interviewed by Steve. That video, very interesting video. I'm surprised they didn't kill each other. That's over at DeMarcosports.com too. Let's talk about your other complimentary plays. Georgia Tech, off to an 8-0 start. First time since 1966. In fact, only the sixth time in Georgia Tech history that this team has started 8-0. Do you know all previous 6 times they won their next game? I'm surprised that this line is only 5.5, and it has stayed steady at 5.5. I mean, what the hell has NC State done here lately? They've lost 4 of their last 5 games. They're coming off road losses at Notre Dame 36-7 and Pittsburgh 53-34. Their only win in that 5-game stretch was beating Campbell. Previously, they lost to Duke on the road 45-33. And how did you lose to Virginia Tech at home 23-21? What really worries me about NC State here is that Hollywood Smothers, who leads the ACC in rushing at 825 yards, he is questionable for this game. And also, their very good tight end, Justin, I don't know, Joly. Is that Jolie? Is it Jolly? I'm not sure how you pronounce his last name, and I didn't look it up. They are both questionable for this game. And when you consider this defense allows 35 points a game in ACC action and almost 408 yards a game, and again, they gave up 53 to Pitt and 45 to Duke, I don't see them stopping a Georgia Tech team that's just rolling with Haynes King at quarterback. I mean, he just had a monster game last week against Syracuse. 25 for 31, 304 yards passing, 3 touchdowns through the air, 91 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns on the ground. This team just can move. So I like Georgia Tech in this spot. Now, if the line stays at 5.5, I'm good. If it goes up to 6, I'm buying down the half point. Your final play is going to be Minnesota minus 3.5 at home against Michigan State. You know, Minnesota's 5-0 at home. They're 0-3 on the road, losing to Cal, Ohio State, and Iowa. I can understand that. I mean, there was no way they were going to beat Ohio State and Iowa on the road. And at home, where they're 5-0, they're averaging 34 points a game. They've covered 7 of the last 8 against Michigan State. They're 3-0 in conference play at home, beating Rutgers by 3, beating Purdue by 7, beating Nebraska by 18. Strong pass rush defense. 25 sacks, averaging 3.1 per game. That's 10th best nationally, second most in terms of overall sacks in the Big Ten. You've got a Michigan State team that's 0-5 in conference play. All of them double-digit losses. They're 0-9 against the spread as a single-digit dog since last year, or as a favorite. Dead man walking with Jonathan Smith as their head coach. He's not going to survive this. They've got a quarterback in Aiden Childs, and the five Big Ten losses is only completing 57% of his passes, 147 yards a game, and has been sacked 13 times. In fact, the offensive line has given up 21 sacks on the season. So that's a bad metric compared to what I just told you with how good the pass rush is for Minnesota. And by the way, they're 0-3 on the road, Michigan State is, with the average margin of defeat by nearly 17 points. The only thing that I'm worried about here is that Minnesota's top running back, Darius Taylor, they play games with their injury report as far as I'm concerned. Last week, not till the last minute, did you find out he was questionable against Iowa, and then he had one carry. And this week, he's questionable again. And this guy has been in and out of the lineup all year. If he doesn't play, it just has me a little concerned. I still think Minnesota is far better defensively, and I think they can squeak out the win, but that's why they will be last on the totem pole for today's play. So, with that being said, let's recap today's selections and how I like these plays. Number one is going to be Arizona, minus the points at Colorado as the Wildcats snap their losing streak. So Arizona is going to be number one. Number two is going to be Georgia Tech, minus the points at NC State. Number three is going to be my boys from Washington State. That's going to be number three. And number four, as I just alluded to, is going to be Minnesota. So again, ladies and gentlemen, Arizona is going to be number one. Georgia Tech is number two. Number three, again, is going to be Washington State for a second straight week. And number four is going to be Minnesota. So that'll do it. Wish you well, guys. And we will talk again on Sunday for your NFL action. Good luck, everybody.